G'day trendsetters. Today I'm in Pelham, Georgia, which is almost middle Georgia and almost southern Georgia. That point aside, this is a lovely little town. This is not my first ride from this town. I've got a new route today. It's almost 100 miles, probably is 100 miles knowing the number of backtracks I'll be taking today. But unfortunately I've gotten a late start. I kind of overslept. That's another story. Anyway, that point aside, I'll give you a tour of the town momentarily and then get the ride itself kicked off. This is the view from the car park of the railway station that is directly behind me. This railway station is no longer in service, but I think it's fitting to do a lap and then keep poking around Pelham. Before I get too carried away, you probably want to see the steed I'm riding today. It's one of my personal bikes, the Linsky Pro GR, and I'm riding it with DT Swiss's GRC 1400 wheels. They're under review right now, and the tyres are WTB Resolutes because I'm expecting some muddy conditions today. You also might notice the second dodgy water bottle right there. Because this frame's triangle is so small, I messed up, didn't bring a smaller water bottle, so those big ones right there, the Zephyrs, will not fit in the rear triangle, so I had to go improvise at the local petrol station, and it's held in place with some plastic bags to stop it from flopping around the joint. First world problems indeed. The railway station nowadays is the Chamber of Commerce, and it's closed for a while, no doubt due to the COVID virus situation, but it's a pretty cool old station. And it looks like it used to have goods and whatnot running out of it at some point, and at the back was the passenger area, which I'll cruise around and give us a look at. If I wasn't riding one-handed, I would totally ride that ramp, but I'm not going to make a fool of myself and eat it on camera. I'm not sure when this station was closed per se. It's a bummer that railway stations, well, I should say it's a bummer that railway services are going by the wayside to a lot of these small towns. People often ask me, why am I so fascinated with railways? Well, they were the foundation of America and a lot of countries, my home country Australia as well. This is before cars were prevalent, so the railway was the only way to get around, transport goods and so on. Huge part of the history of the country. Here's a view beneath the outdoors waiting area of the old railway station. A totally different time of life. And this likely would have been the waiting room at some point. Now it's a museum according to the sign there. That's definitely one of the old platforms for loading freight etc. onto trains. Clearly we need to go ride a bike on the platform. Once upon a time this used to be a busy railway town. There's remnants of the old track right there, and the sign indicates there were 4 tracks at one point in time rolling through town. Now there's just one. And right there is where a water tower once stood. In fact, I believe the last time I visited the town there was a water tower. That'd be the Pelham Garden Centre. There was a restaurant, I'm not sure if it's open anymore. This is part of the main drag through Pelham. There is another section of town I'll show you as well. Check that out, it's an old furniture store. You can see the remnants of signage and a hardware store. Got a tyre company still in operation here in downtown. There is the United States Post Office for Pelham, Georgia. That's a more sizable post office than I typically see in these small towns. This used to be the jail apparently. I don't know how true that is, but and there's the state seal of Georgia on the wall. I'm not a religious bloke, but that's a pretty cool church, the First Baptist Church of Pelham. I love the stained windows. There you go, folks, in Australia. IGA exists in the United States. No trip to the southern United States is complete without a visit to the Piggly Wiggly, which is a supermarket chain. There you go, the old Piggly Wiggly. Looks like Porky Pig right there. Looks like an original old style barber shop right there. And this is the Pelham trading post. And that's a pretty cool building right there. Thomas and Son building, apparently. And it's adjacent to the tallest building here in Pelham, which I'm not sure what it's named. Maybe I can find some information out in a moment. This might have been a hotel at one point in time, I'm not entirely sure. That there is the library building. Carnegie Library. Here you go, this sign's pretty cool, referencing a lot of the cities in terms of how far away they are from Pelham, Georgia. Apparently Calcutta is 8,583 miles in that direction. By the way, they've spelled Sydney wrong. Bloody hell. S-I-D-N-E-Y, it's S-Y-D-N-E-Y. There's probably some other misspellings there. This is the City Hall of Pelham. A newer construction. I'm going to get rolling. I've got quite a ride today and I'm already way behind on time because I got up late, etc. Bloody hell. And the temperature is already nice and toasty. About 85 degrees Fahrenheit, so that's 28-ish. Probably going to get warmer. I'm expecting to get rained on at some point today. There's our first abandoned home of the day, or building of the day, on the outskirts of Pelham. Looks like it was a business at some point in time. It's marked no trespassing, so I'm not going to go poke around inside. More abandoned railway track heading off into the woods. Looks like hurricane damage trashed this old barn building. The first dirt and gravelly road of the day, one of many. Judging from the road conditions during the early miles, it's becoming apparent the roads are near perfect conditions and these tyres might be complete overkill. But it's better to have them than want them. Thus far, the dirt and gravel roads are insanely fast. It seems the rain from yesterday and the day before has been in exactly the perfect condition, which I'm very surprised by. No complaints. Folks, I'm totally riding a private road at the moment. The alternative was a serious backtrack, so fingers crossed this works out okay. However, this sort of action is not recommended. There's some recent tyre tracks there, so let's hope this goes okay. Should be okay, there's no tyre tracks along this section of the road. The only thing that can give me away is my creaking seat post. Just FYI, if you're running a tail light, turn it off if you're doing something naughty like this. You do not want to increase your chances of being spotted. Looks like we've stumbled onto the edge of a massive solar farm. This solar farm is definitely a problem because there's a huge perimeter fence. I cannot obviously scale that. It's barbed wire. I'm not going to do that. And there's a road to the right there that used to cross this field. I rode it in the past. So that's no longer an option. So I'm hoping I can skirt around the perimeter fence and get back on track because the detour is pretty sizable. Ugh. This is the fun and games of scouting and routing and getting lost in the woods. Here we are riding the perimeter fence. Got quite a ways to go. Hopefully this works out okay. Well, this totally blows. Most of that is really deep thicket and brush, and something detrimental may happen to the drivetrain. So there you go, up close and personal with a solar farm. I now have to backtrack, take some pavement way out of my way to get back on course. Whee! Road closed, there you go, there's the proof. Fiddlesticks. There's one positive to this reroute. The reroute itself is quite lovely. So it's not a complete loss. Just found some muddy patches, so it looks like I might have brought along the right tyres after all. Well, it took a little while, but I'm back onto course. Headed towards the next town of Sail City. Thankfully I don't have too much further to go. Short respite from the blazing sun. This route is another classic farmland route, so not a lot of tree cover and not really optimal for this time of the year. If you need some farm equipment, I know just the place. Low use, make an offer. On the left, those fields are typically growing cotton. Now it's not the time of year, but around October, November, you'll see the cotton fields blooming in their magnificence. We're on the outskirts of Sail City. There is the city limit sign. The Quick Stop number 2 is one of the few businesses in town operating. I've been here before. We have the old drugstore here on the corner. There's the water tower in the background, zip code 31784. Now the Lost Creek restaurant here is in business. Well, it was last time I visited, because I spoke to the proprietor. Very nice bloke. And there's the Sail City Volunteer Fire Department. There's City Hall and the Police Department in that little building right there. There be the Sail City Library and the Sail City Post Office. Zip code 31784, as I said before. Sail City Community Park. It's a pretty empty place right now. It's hot as hell. Hey, what are you doing? Little silly ass. Go on. Look at that healthy glow. Only nutcases are riding these sorts of roads at this time of the day. Bloody hell. But look at the views. There's no one around. Gorgeous farm roads. And it is relatively overcast. So I have that to be thankful for, aside from it being very warm. I'd like to give a quick shout out to my good friends at K-Edge, that's K-Edge, out of Boise, Idaho. Those good folks provide me with my computer mount that also suspends my GoPro Hero 7 camera beneath the computer, so it keeps my handlebars looking nice and neat. I like to run 2 computers, as I've mentioned before, and next to that is my bag by Kai Venture Bags. So I'm about to enter the town of Doe Run, D-O-E-R-U-N. This is a place I'm going to rehydrate. It's very hot. There you go, welcome to Doe Run, home of Doe Run Elementary, a distinguished school. Well, there's the water tower. But first, before I scope out the town, it's time to get some much needed hydration. To the folks who are watching this video, I sincerely hope that if you ride bikes, you're still social distancing, because we are far from out of the woods with the COVID situation, so do the right thing. Anyway, time for some snackies. Good advice right there.
Standard household cleansers and white filter.
Oh yeah. Rehydration time, no judgment please. Couple of goo tablets, some Dasani water in with the tablets, and some of my favourite goodies on these rides, the kickstart. I need all the help I can get right now. As soon as I've consumed these goodies, I will resume the tour of Doe Run, Georgia. I reckon passers-by at the gas station here believe I'm meditating, whereas actually I'm feeling like bloody crap hiding out from the heat. I will come around soon, I promise you. There be the Doe Run Community Centre, and on the right, Doe Run Police Department. Doe Run Post Office. Check out the roof on that house. That is likely original or period correct. There's the Doe Run City Hall, the council chambers, and next door an apothecary. Check out the old Ford truck. It's been parked there quite some time. The City of Doe Run Event Centre. Well, it's time to bid farewell to Doe Run, Georgia, and continue with our journey. This is the first dirt road right on the outskirts of Doe Run. Absolutely fantastic. We're passing through some small town whose name I completely forget. It's basically like a little community. I'm sure I'll remember the name momentarily. So this is the small town or community of Bridgeboro. I don't think there's too much here. Scope it out real quick. There you go, there's a church here in the town of Bridgeboro. Welcome to the back streets of Bridgeborough. A couple of nice old houses. Well, that completes the tour of Bridgeborough, and just ahead is the next dirt road that exits the town. Onward! Taking a quick breather out here in the middle of bloody nowhere, in the shade by the railway crossing. I am truly in the middle of bloody nowhere. Note the road. It was very muddy here yesterday, so the wind and heat definitely dried out the roads and made it very accommodating for today. There you go, signs of heavy rain, washout and so on. Riding in the heat of the day right now. It's about 3:45 in the afternoon. Thankfully there's a little bit of tree cover along this part of the route, but I am suffering. But I'm riding a nice steady measured tempo, not killing myself. I'm very thankful these roads are in excellent shape after all of the rain. I mentioned this earlier in the video. Pardon the creaking of the seat post if you hear it. I don't know until I play back the video. But this is one of those reminders when the last time I rode the bike I said, oh yeah, I should probably pull apart that seat post and lube it up. And another reminder today. Oh yeah, I should probably disassemble that seat post after this ride and sort it out because the creaking is driving me nuts. This is a scene of beauty, tranquility, and no bloody cars. On the outskirts of some civilization here. I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, getting close to the town of Baconton, or it's Camilla. I always get these towns wrong. Here we go, trendsetters. Welcome to the city of Baconton, Georgia. Apparently there is some pecan festival in town. Likely not at the moment, it might have been cancelled anyway due to COVID. I just consumed an amazing snack at the petrol station on the outskirts of town. A pint of blueberries. It hit the spot so bloody well. Oh yeah. Okay, here we are. There is the water tower of Baconton, and it is celebrated by being covered in patina, or rust if you prefer. And on the right, the Baconton United States Post Office, zip code 31716. There isn't much happening here. Interesting buildings, mostly derelict it seems. I wonder what this building's purpose was. It's right adjacent to the railway track. The Baconton Public Works Department, right there. Now we're heading out of Baconton. There wasn't a whole lot to see, unfortunately. Small little town. But I believe I've got a bloody tailwind the rest of the way home. Have to love that. This tree cover is so appreciated. I believe I'm drawing closer to the town of Camilla, Georgia. And this road looks like it was scraped a few days ago. It's a bit bumpy but relatively smooth, all things considered. This has become quite the character building ride. The wind has switched directions. I always appreciate that. It's still very hot. Have a gander at this, will you? This is a beautiful set of roads right here. I believe these are pecan trees forming a massive grove. So peaceful out here. Here in the distance is the town of Camilla, Georgia, where I'll be stopping and providing, I hope, an informative tour of the downtown area. That water tower there verifies I'm on the edge of Camilla, Georgia. The official welcome sign. Camilla city limits, home of Mitchell Baker Eagles. Some of you trendsetters will remember this program, the DARE program, Daring to Work for a Drug-Free Community. The DARE program was, I believe, around in the early 1990s. As soon as we enter town, we encounter the Camilla Depot, Chamber of Commerce, aka the former railway station that used to serve the town. So let's go do a lap. And if you don't like railways, you might want to fast forward this part of the video. Looks like they used the former passenger area as an event space. Naturally, we go trackside for a closer look. If I find out when this railway station was closed down, I'll overlay it because I don't have a clue. There's a memorial to Valentine's Day back on February 14, 2000, when some tornadoes ripped through this area. On the left there is the Southwest Georgia Regional Commission. That is a very beautiful historic home. That property right there is for sale if you desire yourself a nice fixer-upper. There is City Hall, constructed in 1913. That is the post office, encapsulated in beautiful marble. Let's get a closer look at that. I believe I'm positioned right at the front of the local courthouse because this is a Veterans Memorial for the Korean War, World War I, World War II and the Vietnam War. It is indeed the Mitchell County Courthouse, another beautiful building. All of these old buildings have such character versus the bloody rubbish that is constructed nowadays. The same can be said for home building. And right there is where the judge parks. Judge parking only, okay? This is the old city well, right there. And here's the plaque. Hopefully you can read that in the shadowing. Pardon my shadowing. And here is all you need to know about Mitchell County. This is the view from the front of the courthouse. Fire Department, Broad Street, Camilla, Georgia. And right next door, the city of Camilla, the Public Safety Complex. Oh, and we found the Spirit of Camilla. That's pretty sweet. Let's have a closer gander at that. The Americano steam locomotives aren't my favourites, but that point aside, you have to appreciate the power that this train once had, the power of steam. And for those who don't know, that part of the train stored the coal. That part of the train just right near the cabin was the firebox that basically boiled the water inside this massive tank, and a bunch of pipes and whatnot basically ran pressurized steam to drive those wheels right there. That explanation of steam locomotives may be the most inaccurate ever, so don't give me too much grief. Well, once upon a time, before this was fitted out for kiddies and so on, this would have housed a ton of coal. Well, probably more than a ton of coal, a lot of coal. And two blokes would have been throwing the said coal into the firebox right there, which would have been burning and so on. One bloke's driving, one bloke's usually shoveling and controlling the entire operation from that panel right there. Very hard work. And no air conditioning, of course. A lot of heat, a lot of danger, a lot of smoke. And for the non-railway people, you can always fast forward this part of the video if you don't like it. I believe that used to be the old fire department building, erected in 1939. Now it's a paediatrics office. That's how it says Camilla, Georgia, growing towards tomorrow. On the left, some kind of massive transport operation. Sexton Farms. And there's a bunch of silos. I'm assuming those are grain silos. If you live near Camilla and you know about these silos, feel free to chime in and tell me all about them, please, in the comments section below. Later on today I'll be googling massive silos near Camilla, Georgia. I'm drawing very close to Pelham, the starting and ending point of today's ride. There is the Pelham city limit sign. Almost done. Well, trendsetters, this about wraps up the video. I am back in Pelham and I am truly done. Don't like a bloody dinner. The ride ended up being about 110 miles or 175 k's, mostly due to some reroutes, some creative actions on my part because the route was bollocksed up. That point aside, it was a great ride. I hope you enjoyed tagging along. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please subscribe to the Gravel Cyclist YouTube channel and don't forget to click the bell button to be notified of future videos as they appear on the channel. I'll see you in the next video.